welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we are very happy to see you here today. Today we're going to celebrate Canada. On Tuesday, July 1st, is going to be Canada's 158th birthday, anniversary, whatever we want to call it. So I would like to do something to honor the country that I love and live in. Also, it is Pop and I's 30th wedding anniversary. So I thought I'm going to make Canada. The magic of me. I have some white, I chose a light color because I'm putting this up against a monitor that has the map of Canada on it, and I used masking tape to tape it up and then use it as a place to trace so you can see the whole country right here that I have in front of me. And I used a permanent marker. So this is like a linen, broadcloth. You can see it's kind of see-through-ish, so you want to make sure that's something that you can, acquire to be able to make this happen, okay? Or some white material. Now, what you want to do is use a heat and bond, is be able to copy these pieces here individually into your provinces or your territories or whatever it is that you have going on for your country, okay? Obviously, Canada we've got like 13 things I got to deal with. Provinces and territories wise, right? So I have each of them copied out here. Now, this is the back side of the heat and bond. This is like the textured part right here. And then here is the paper part. I am going to have to make sure to transfer these images onto the back here, so when I go to do my cutouts of my fabric, I have the proper size and I can actually see it, because it's really faint here, and especially if I put it on dark fabric underneath of it, I'm going to lose those lines like crazy. So that is just to make sure that when I do the flip, I don't want the reverse of Canada. I want Canada to be just the way it is right now, right? So that's what I've done, and to get that there, I've taken a piece of white paper to slip underneath the project that I'm working on, and then I've taken my heat and bond paper, and I have laid it over, as you can see right here. Let me just trace this out here. And of course, Northwest Territories and Nunavut are massive little islands everywhere, so I am going to try my very, very best. As you can see, there's a lot there. Very best to get them all chopped out. Okay, so this is going to take some time. So once I have this lined up where I want to do, I want to trace out all the little islands, and then I'm going to flip a bit, get back again to this side. Again, take my white piece of paper, put it in between me and my project, so that makes those lines stand up even more, because other than that, we don't have any cut lines. Okay, so let me get this all finished out, and then I'll show you. I have some reds fabrics to choose from that are going to represent all the provinces, and I have a lovely, a little bit of a flower sort of print to it, this fabric that it's all going to lay on top of. So when I go to lay out my pieces, this is going to go on top of my template. I'm going to line up all my pieces, give a little heat and bond, and then we're done. So, okay, so see you in a moment. Once we have all of our tracings done on our heat and bond, so it's on both sides of the paper, one so we get it the proper directional way for the sticky side or the textured side, and then we transferred those lines to the paper side so we have a reference to cut out. Now I have a little stack of fabric that I'm going to be using here for my little provinces, or my big provinces too. And I've just got the smallest ones at the moment here, trying to just get them in their position. So I have different colors of red to represent the provinces and territories of Canada, okay? There's going to be a lot of trimming going on for Nunavut. That's for sure. There's lots of little islands up there for Northwest Territories and Nunavut. So let's get these ones going here. I chose a nice big bright red for Nova Scotia. And they've got like little softer tones and brighter tones and textured fabrics, and hopefully that will make for a very nice country project. So I'm just heating it up with the sticky side down to the fabric. And then that's the color that's going to be for Prince Edward Island. This color here is for New Brunswick, making sure it is all in the right spot. Got this bright red here for Nova Scotia. And I've got some of this floral texture that we have done for many projects here. It's actually fat quarter gift pack to the quilt shop. We've done many, many projects, and we're just going to use that. Look how pretty it is, right? Look how, it's got little tones and a little bit of purple in there too. So that's going to be Labrador, Newfoundland, and the little island in between. So it's all classified as Newfoundland and Labrador. So all that's going to be one color because it is represented as one section. Once we get all this done, pressed out, then we have to trim it out. That is going to be a little bit of a tedious task. Just tuck in with a snack and maybe a good show or a good podcast or even a episode of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop. We do 2 videos a week and 2 live streams a week. We try to do 2 videos a week. Sometimes life gets in the way, and we apologize for that. All right, so I'm just going to do these as a rough cut and then get them all trimmed out. There was one section here where it comes to Quebec and Labrador. They kind of overlap just a smidge. So I want to make sure that I'm allowing enough space, because right here is where they overlap. They actually merge into the other here. So if I had that flipped over, you'd see. Hold on, maybe there we go. So we want to make sure that that line is getting properly represented. So what I'm going to do is cut this one a little bit beyond where it needs to be, and then when this one gets placed on top of it, it'll give me the line as long as I'm following these ones. Okay, so that's what I was like, ooh, I better figure that one out. Okay. All right, let me get these all pressed and trimmed out, and then I'll meet you back here. To get around more of the more difficult terrainy areas, I find it easier to twist the paper as I slowly squeeze the scissors. So I'm twisting the paper to get it to try and line up along the geographical line of what the mass is the best I can. I mean, we're just doing a piece of art. Okay, and then you just keep going. These islands here are off the coast of British Columbia, so I don't want to forget those. So trying to make sure I still got those proper placements when I go to lay it out on my other canvas to make sure I'm in the right spot. So that is a tiny little island right there. I was trying not to clip off. And you just keep following all the terrain or all the line, and you'll get all your beautiful little provinces, or states or territories or whatever you have for your country. All right. Now, just to make note for the project behind me on the wall, that is our Around the World quilt from 2017-2018. Now, if you would like to partake in that, you just have to check out the link below, and it is a 9.5 by 9.5 inch block of what represents you or what you like to do or anything like that. As you can see by the blocks behind us, there's Texas, there's pumpkins, there's foundation paper piecing, there's all sorts of things, and we absolutely love it. We are in the midst of trying to get a second one going. We've got quite a few blocks already, but we need quite a few more to make it a full quilt like the one behind me. So what we do is we make sure that we have your name and where you're from in a little bit below. That's what all those little white strips are. So each block is named by the person and where they're from. So if you would like to partake in that, we would absolutely love it. So please do. We're just going to keep cutting out until we're all done. It's going to take a little bit of time. I'm sure some of yours might be a little bit easier. Of course, Canada's complicated and it's really big. I wouldn't say complicated, just a lot of curves, nooks and crannies. Okay, we'll get some more of this done and we'll catch you in a few moments. Okay, we have our map template underneath, our white fabric that we're going to applique our provinces down on top of, so we have the proper placement. There was lots of, obviously, islands in Nunavut, and so I got maybe about 95% of them cut out. not done there yet. And I needed some blue for the waters of the lakes inside the lands, okay? So what I'm going to do here is just start laying down and heating the map sections onto this cloth. Okay, so I have it so it is level. It is on an angle to me though, just so I can be able to kind of see a little bit of light from the reflection, or light from the lamp there, and be seeing the. I probably could have used a darker color underneath, but the orange I can see. You probably not be able to see it, but it is there. So, all right, let's. We've got a few here. Let's work on these guys here. We got Nova Scotia, which is down here. Okay, I'm just trying to make proper placement here. It's about there. Boom. Okay. We probably want to peel as we go here. Okay. Oops, goes this way. Okay, so here and there, and it's flat there. Nova Scotia is not an island. It is actually attached to New Brunswick, which is right here. So I just want to make sure I'm lining up this piece correctly. Something about there. These kind of overlap just a smidge. Okay. Oops. Oh, right there. Sorry, that's where they overlap, I believe. Yes. Okay. So there. Peel that. Again, referring to your reference of where things need to be placed. Okay. There. Now let's go with, I got a couple little tiny ones here. Don't want to lose them. Okay. This is Quebec. Oops. I have a mix of fabrics here. It would be great if you could get all batiks to work this way, but well, we were not so so lucky. And I have a little bit of fabric here where their Quebec meets up with New Brunswick. Okay, just trying to, I feel like I got the placement off a smidge here. Here. Scoot. Like it's tucked right under. Perfect. It will take time to fiddle and faddle all the little pieces into place. That's why I suggest at least peeling them off first, having a nice pair of tweezers, even like a long pin or something like that to help push all these little itty bits into place, so you're not all over. Okay. This piece goes right here. So we're going to kind of sneak it under. It's where Labrador meets up with Quebec. I believe I got that right. Hopefully I did. Just going to go on top. Okay, we'll have to fiddle with that just a smidge. Okay, we got it. And that's how I'm going to go and place out the rest of my provinces. It's going to take me a while, so I will check back in with you guys as soon as I get that all sorted, okay? So a few tips of trade is definitely maybe some goggles to intensify where you're looking, and being able to have proper placement where you're doing, with, especially with the little bits, okay? So check in a few. We have appliqued all of our provinces and territories down. I am probably missing a few islands up here in Northwest Territories and Nunavut, but I will try and get those with probably a little red marker pen or something like that. They're just so tiny that it's hard to get like an applique piece down onto it. So I will represent them with little dots later. So this is the majority of what I got going on right now. We are finished to this point of having it all down. And now I've taken is a nice decorative stitch here. I'll hopefully show you a picture right here, and the size of what I have set it on my machine. And then I'm going through the provinces. I went through Labrador and Quebec here just to stitch it down. I've got red on the top and the bottom. And I'm going to come down here in between Quebec and Ontario, and then between Ontario and Manitoba, and then in between Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and of course Nunavut. So I'll come all the way in between here. Here is where I almost made a mistake. When I traced it all out, I had it all set to Nunavut's piece of fabric here, and I was like, oh nope, that's part of Northwest Territories, we can't do that. So it actually is this weird little line that goes across. Oh, you can't see that, I'm sorry. Here it's a weird little line that just kind of goes across right there, so we had to make sure we got that in there. So we'll come across here, here, and here, all the way down into here, all across is where the provinces connect. Okay, so let's get stitching onto that. Let's do a nice big long one right here, and then we can just work our way. All right. And then what I want to do is take, with my free motion foot, just come around and just kind of pop a little thread all the way around the islands and around the outside edge of the bigger landmass itself, okay? Just to make sure everything's going to hold together, okay? And then I'll show you my idea for afterwards, okay? I appreciate your time, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, let's go this way. And any of those little spots that you may see in between, you could just fill in with a little red marker. It's not even going to be a big deal. Just a little fine tip. I'm just trying to connect the little provinces together with a nice little decorative stitch. If you want, you can use a blanket stitch. I thought about using my heartbeat stitch, but I really wanted something to really grip on both sides of the project. Instead of just going like right down in the center, I really wanted a little bit, like, as I joke, from column A and column B. And I hope you like my color choices and fabric choices that I made for our provinces and territories. Do a little locking stitch right here, right at the tip. Stop. Let's take a look at that. Oh, that looks really pretty. Very nice. Okay, and then we're just going to do all the ones in between. Okay, so let's putter at that. Let's do here. Stitch all the ones in between and catch you back when we're going to put the base stitch around the outside edge. Okay, I've got it all stitched down and around in between the provinces. So what I'm going to do now is switch out my regular foot here to my walking foot. I just find that easier to control, but you could certainly just use your regular foot. Always remember to finger tighten, and then always tighten with the screwdriver. Okay. And then I'm going to drop my feed dogs, which are on the side of my machine here. Sometimes they're in the front, there's a button at the back. Always check your manual. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip our project back underneath. And then we're going to work our way around each little landmass section to stitching it down all the way around. And we're going to even tack a dot or two on that one and these guys here, okay? So don't worry about the threads. We'll trim them all up at the end. Let's not worry about that, okay? So let's work on this little part here. We're going to drop our needle down in the corner, pop it back up, bring our bottom threads up. You can see right there, that's our little bottom tail. I'm going to make sure we have that in our hands, between the two threads, holding them taut enough to make sure that the bottom thread isn't going to go skipping back down under, okay? So we just want to kind of put a little stitch right close to the edge, just to tack it down, because this heat and bond is not going to last forever. Yes, I understand. Thank you for beeping at me. Oh, my mistake. I turned it on the wrong button. Whoops, I was on the wrong. I thought, oh, if I changed it there, must have known. Nope. Okay, hold on. Let's pull this back out. Oops. Let's fix that. It's like, that's our decorative stitch we're trying to go in between. That's not right. Wrong. Thread out. Okay. And we don't want to come too close to the edge or we're going to shred it, right? Okay, so yes, and yes. Okay, now we're on the right foot. Oopsies. Sorry about that. It's all good. Down, up, hold it taut. If you want, you can put some stabilizer behind this. If you think you got like lots of little tiny little bits to do, you could certainly do that. Yep, thank you. I'm just trying to come very close to the edge, but not shred the edge, to stabilize our fabric piece where we want it to be on the wall hanging. Okay. Take your time. This is going to be a process. Well, I mean, it could be, all in 30 seconds, depends on your country, so. Good old Canada. It's a bit big. And I would love to know, if you are from this great country, where you are. Because we're way about here, in Nova Scotia. Okay, that was Newfoundland that we have finished up. To tack, lift our needle up, scoot over here, and again, and go all the way around, right near the edge. Be steady, be consistent. Don't let it get too far away from you. Stop with the needle down. Batiks are probably the best for this because they definitely do have a tendency to stick a little bit better than some cottons, and the frayness really is not in there. Come down here. This little part of Quebec. Brunswick. A little close to the edge there. Well, let me reposition myself. I will come in and do the little islands too. But we'll do the big part right first. I thought about going around and putting like little beads where our capitals are, but I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Once I finish it. Just one big glorious country. And if you happen to visit this country, where did you visit? What provinces or territories did you visit? Was it family? Was it vacation? We have definitely lived in a few provinces of Canada, so we've explored quite a bit and love this country so very much. It is stunningly beautiful, even with all its many months of winter. Alright, I will catch back up to you when this is all base stitched around, okay? We have all of our land masses already stitched down, stabilized all around the outside edge, and our gaps in between, or our spaces in between the provinces have all been stitched up as well. It looks lovely. I know it's not going to go anywhere. I even thread painted a few of the little islands that I needed to. So what I want to do from here is to put in the water. There's a few water masses in between some of the provinces and stuff like that, so I want to make sure that gets sorted out. They're trimmed out right here, so once I get those trimmed out and pressed down, we'll come in with some blue thread and do the stitch around on the same manner of it, and then we'll check you when that's done. Once we have all of our little waters for the lakes all cut out, and to help position of where they need to go, I'm using my first template that I'd taken from tracing it off the monitor to draw my country. I'm just going to put it this way. Using this one, laying over top of my applique to get my waters in their proper spot, okay? So I'm going to set that up, give it a good press, and then we're good to go. So I just lined it up. Make sure the iron is warm. This one looks like it could go right there. So of course it's not going to go on top of this. We want to make sure it's on the proper placement underneath. So I'm going to take the paper off and then slip it under, and then do a little bit of tweaking. If you line it up with the piece underneath and then the lines on top, hopefully we can get it in a relatively close enough position. To be there, okay? And then we'll get that one, which seems to be that mass, or that water, that lake. Now this is a great project to do with family and friends. You know, maybe you could do the whole world. Do it as like a puzzle. Almost there. Pretty close. Smidge just a little. Oops. Of course I moved it right out of position. Okay, let's lay this back on top. Of course I'm moving it as I'm going. Just stay in your spot. This is where a little pin that has no plastic tip on it would be a good thing. Okay, so we need to move him down a smidge. It'll take time, but it's well worth it. Back just a little bit. That's in the right position. So that's in the right position, and then we're just going to heat that. Work a little bit at a time. We'll get all the lakes done. So once I get those done, sorted out, my plan is to take a Canadian flag that we have here. It's like a wall hanging one, or a small one that you can hang up just like this. So it's the perfect size of what I need for this project. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay it down. Then I'm going to lay my map of Canada on top of it. And what I want to do is make it so that the maple leaf is a shadow stitch out when I go to take it to the long arm. And hopefully you guys will see that on Wednesday. Oh, flip it around. Okay. Obviously I'll get all my waters done, but I want to show you just how I'm going to finish this up. And then you'll get to see it on Wednesday. Okay. So lining it up so it's equal on both sides. And then I'll show you what I see. So you can see that shadow effect of that maple leaf just right behind. So I want to take that, I want to lay it down. Okay, so you can see it there. And to see it even better, you slip a piece of white paper underneath, and then you can really be able to see that line. So what I'm going to take is a ruler and a pencil and mark those lines out. Make sure I'm happy with where the positionings of them are. And then that is going to be a nice shadow effect quilting that I'm going to do on the long arm. Just do that. That. Move my piece of paper over. And that's how I'm celebrating Canada Day. How are you celebrating Canada Day? Doesn't have to be the whole leaf, but it's just enough that you can see as a representation. Let's move our fabric or paper down a smidge here. There we go. And then we've got the bottom part here, move up through the islands, right there. Okay, so that's out. So you're going to get a good size portion of that maple leaf in the project itself. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this lovely adventure of making something unique and fun and using your creative talent and interest to, you know, just have some fun with your fabrics. So this is a great way to me to express my love for my country and do something really artsy-fartsy that's kind of right up my alley. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you have a wonderful Canada Day, and I can't wait to see what you guys are working on. So thank you. Big hugs from us at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you later, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us.